Lycanthropes, also known as werewolves, are the central villains in the 2002 movie Dark Soldiers. This film centers around a group of soldiers who find themselves battling these creatures in the Scottish Highlands. Werewolves are human beings who have the ability to transform into monstrous humanoids resembling wolves during the night of a full moon. The transformation is a painful and intense experience, marked by the individual's body contorting and changing into their lupine form. Once transformed, werewolves become fearsome predators, possessing an unbridled ferocity and a pack mentality. They are known for their cunning and intelligence, making them a formidable force to be reckoned with. Werewolves transform into their lupine form every month during the full moon, and the transformation can last for more than one night. In the movie, Harry Wells and his squad hear strange noises and howls in the twilight that they eventually realize are the vocalizations of transformed werewolves. The howls are accompanied by the sounds of the Ulat family transforming. It's important to note that werewolves do not necessarily transform at a specific time and can suppress their transformation voluntarily, as Megan did for most of the night in the movie. However, the transformation is eventually unavoidable every full moon night. When Harry and Cooper were speculating about how much time the first werewolf had before transforming, they likened it to the feeling of needing to use the bathroom, something that can be delayed but only temporarily. Megan attempted to deceive the squad by telling them that the werewolves would return to their human form at dawn. However, this was not the case, as Ryan was still transformed when Cooper found him and killed him in the basement of the protected house early in the day. The complete transformation of a human into a werewolf has never been directly observed. In the case of Megan, the transformation was signaled beforehand by significant and sudden episodes of abdominal discomfort, while the transformation of the experienced soldier Wells was indicated by intense and nearly paralyzing agony and convulsions. Ryan, on the other hand, only showed signs of pain that resulted in growling after he started transforming. When transforming, a werewolf's eyes will first change to a bright green color and dilate, their teeth will start to change shape, and their vocal cords will begin to alter, causing their human voice to sound distorted at this initial stage. The rest of the transformation apparently takes only a few seconds, and in Ryan's case, he made little noise before fully emerging transformed. If a human is scratched by the claws of a transformed werewolf and survives long enough, they too will become a werewolf. After infection, both Wells and Ryan experienced a rapid improvement in their previously impaired condition, going from not being able to stand or walk without help due to their injuries, to being as physically and mentally capable as ever. This change in condition appears to be influenced by the full moon, as Ryan remained injured and traumatized until the following night after being attacked, while Wells' recovery occurred on the same night he was infected after a few hours. Hours after this recovery stage, the individual's wounds will have healed completely, leaving only scars. After this point, the infected person appears to be affected not only physically, but also mentally. As Cooper noted, Ryan went from being traumatized to calm and unflappable. Both Ryan and Wells seemed to experience higher levels of aggression during this post-recovery stage. Wells seemed more alert, eager to leave, and constantly a bit agitated, while Ryan was almost constantly calm and spent his time mocking his fellow survivors frequently and unnecessarily. However, Ryan struck harshly when Cooper demanded, against Ryan's will, to see the healing wounds of the latter. Ryan, who previously hated dogs to the point of senselessly killing them for simply barking loudly in his presence, appeared to experience a silent canine connection with sound during this stage. Wells commented during this stage to Cooper that he felt absolutely fantastic. Eventually, the infected person will transform before the end of the night, apparently a few hours after dusk. In their lupine form, werewolves resemble lupine humanoids with gray hair and brown skin. These werewolves are bipeds and grow to a height of approximately 2 meters. They have heads very similar to those of grey wolves in form and coat color, with bright green eyes, and have a thick mane of hair that covers their shoulders and runs down their back to the lower torso. The rest of their body is uncovered by fur, but with some tufts of hair on the elbows and hair on the legs and groin. These werewolves have a lanky and elongated constitution in the shape of their limbs and torso, similar to real wolves. They have double-jointed legs that end in wolf paws, with thicker ties on the synemies and metatarsals, and a thick chest cavity that protrudes through their flesh. They have humanoid hands, with bony fingers equipped with long, yellow claws. While transformed, these creatures are clearly pack hunters and intelligent fighters. It's not clear how much, if any, of their human personality remains when they transform. Megan claimed that the Yuaf family were good and kind people despite what they were doing in their lupine forms, but they may have been lying given the circumstances. The family was evidently aware of the murders they committed in their wolf forms and covered them up, keeping the skeletons and fresher bodies of their murdered victims in their basement and around their house in a closet. When the squad discovered that the pack of werewolves had to be the Youth family, Wells suggested that this would explain why they were attacking the squad so relentlessly after the latter group had taken refuge in the family's house, upset at the invasion of their lair. After transforming, Ryan showed signs not only of remembering how he felt towards Cooper, but he also seemed to understand what Cooper was saying, responding with violence to each of Cooper's insults. Additionally, the transformed Ryan seemed to prefer using his hands to strike with punches, backhands, and other attacks that would favor a human in hand-to-hand combat instead of bites or scratches. He attempted to kill Cooper by thrusting the same sword Cooper had previously impaled Ryan through Cooper's mouth. Transformed werewolves possess an unnervingly high level of intelligence and familiarity with human-made tools that extends beyond their cunning. In addition to operating door handles, they have been observed operating zippers, firing a shotgun against a soldier immediately after taking it from them, and intentionally disconnecting fuel lines from Land Rovers. The squad also believed that when the house's power was cut, the werewolves deliberately disabled the house's external generator, both to give themselves a visual advantage and to deliberately scare the squad. Despite their intelligence, werewolves appear to be aware of their own kind, even when the latter remain in human form due to suppression of the transformation. The youth werewolves simply stalked around Megan and Wells without directly attacking when both were about to transform. The latter case, combined with how the youth took Megan after infecting her, seems to suggest that werewolves are not overly territorial with outsiders and are willing to adopt infected werewolves into their own pack. Werewolves do not limit their hunting to just humans, as they are known to also prey on other animals such as cattle in the Highlands of Scotland. Surprisingly, dogs seem to be safe from werewolves in their transformed state. In one instance, a werewolf approached a dog named Sam, but didn't attack despite the canine barking in alarm. This could be due to the werewolf in question being in human form and being one of Sam's owners. Werewolves and dogs seem to be able to communicate with each other, as demonstrated by the way Sam and the transformed Ryan challenge each other through barking and growling. Megan suggested, while discussing the 15 missing people in the Youth family glen, that werewolves typically hunt people who are camping or walking outside. In fact, the squad avoided any encounters with werewolves during their first night in the area by camping in a gully, while Ryan's team, which was actively hunting the werewolves that night, was murdered at their campsite and Ryan was attacked while exploring outside. The Youth family of werewolves displayed pack mentality, working and hunting together in their wolf form. During their attacks on Ryan's camp and numerous other raids against the squad, they employed a divide and conquer strategy, with each individual attacking the enemy from a different angle, making their prey often struggle to keep up or prepare for attacks from the rear. Megan stated, while deceiving the squad, that based on the behavior of her pack, werewolves probably have a hierarchy with a dominant alpha pair and a younger male beta acting as second in command. These werewolves often killed their victims by disemboweling and bleeding them out, and almost immediately began to devour some of the remains. However, the youth werewolves also took the corpses of their victims from the site of their murder, even when the formers were still transformed, apparently to be eaten in a secure location or stored in their home. Beyond just killing to eat, transformed werewolves have sometimes displayed disturbing sadistic tendencies. This was most notably seen when instead of immediately killing Terry Milburn after dragging him away, one of the youth werewolves took him to the barn and kept him alive. When Joe Kirtley entered the barn's Land Rover much later, he saw Terry still alive in the hands of a werewolf. With Terry's face mutilated by claw marks and missing an eye, the werewolf responded to Joe's arrival by slowly biting into Terry's spinal column at the neck while Joe watched, then threw Terry's head towards the windshield as if to psychologically disturb Joe. Similarly, a werewolf inside the Land Rover chose to stay hidden in the back and let Joe realize on his own that he was right behind him. This tendency to toy with their prey may also explain why, during the great attack on the house, the werewolves who entered the bedroom didn't immediately attack Cooper despite their speed when outdoors. In their wolf form, werewolves have clear and completely monochromatic night vision, allowing them to see in the dark as clearly as if it was daytime. Despite their heavy appearance, werewolves in the movie Dog Soldiers are relatively fast two-legged runners in the open air. Witherspoon was able to initially outrun an attacking werewolf and gain significant ground before being caught. Thus, werewolves seem to rely on stealth and strength to take their prey by surprise. These creatures are physically very strong, capable of easily shredding metal technology with their claws, throwing adult men several meters back, and breaking through doors and wooden surfaces in a matter of minutes, either with or without obstacles. Werewolves are particularly stealthy when they want to be, such as when they attempt to slowly and quietly open doors at the start of their attack on the house, and many times they remain hidden and unnoticed in dark places, even by trained soldiers. In their wolf form, werewolves are incredibly difficult to kill, as the soldiers noted. Shooting them only served to stun them and force them to retreat. A werewolf survived and almost instantly recovered from being repeatedly stabbed in a frenzy by Spoon with enough force to spray blood all over the room. The transformed Ryan survived being impaled in the center of his torso with a sword, and was not even left laying, with the sword lodged within him hours later. It is implicit that this near invincibility extends to werewolves even when they are partially transformed, as Megan survived and transformed after receiving a gunshot wound to the eye, although in her wolf form, her eye remained missing. The werewolves in Dog Soldiers have very few weaknesses, although silver seems to be poisonous to these creatures, paralyzing their extreme durability, and making them killable by conventional means such as a shot to the head if silver weapons penetrate their bodies. When Cooper stabbed the transformed Ryan in the chest with a silver sword, Ryan was not immediately killed, but the skin around the wound immediately turned red and the werewolf gasped in pain. The only other confirmed method for successfully killing a werewolf is with the force and fire of a large explosion.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more informative and engaging content like this. Your support helps us continue to create quality content and share it with the world.